Welcome to How Can Clubs and Groups Improve Rider Safety? Please check for handouts and submit questions in the Q&A tab. Click on the chat icon to open these tabs. This session will provide examples of successful rider safety programs and lessons learned within groups and clubs and discuss real-world techniques for improving the safety of riders in groups and clubs. We welcome riders from multiple groups and clubs. Please see their full bios in the auditorium agenda. I'm going to introduce a few of our speakers now. Tony Lasher and Virgil Booker from Gold Wing Road Riders Association. We have Chris Milligan, Gas Cat, from Bikers Against Child Abuse. And we have Chris Ward, Clutch, from Grim Guardians Motorcycle Club. Virgil, would you mind kicking this off and letting us know a little bit about yourself?
Yes, good morning. My name is Virgil Booker, and I'm one of the assistant directors for the Gold Wing Road Riders Association, assistant director for the Motorist Awareness Program. I am a master tour rider. I've been riding for about 40 years. The Motorist Awareness Program that I'm a part of it's a program designed to educate the non-riding public to help them to start seeing motorcycles. But today I want to talk about our Gold Wing Road Riders Association Riders Ed, the Levels program. Level 1, and this is a program that I participate in as a master tour rider. Level 1 is safety by commitment. It's a personal commitment that we make to participate in a rider education program. Level 2, it's safety by education. This program is a program where we actually go out and participate in the riding course, and we take our co-rider with us, so they also get to participate. Before we can go to the Levels program, we have to have 5,000 miles of safe miles since joining the Gold Wing Road Riders Association. Level 3, this is a safety by preparedness. This is where we go out and take a first aid course through the Gold Wing Road Riders Association. It's a hands-on course. We also learn CPR, and we then carry the first aid kit on our bike so that when we're out and about, if there's an accident, then we're able to help by administering first aid to the riders. And level 4, this is the pinnacle of the program. We must have 25,000 safe miles since joining the program. And we have to also maintain all of the other 3 levels as far as for all of the requirements. And we have to wait 1 year before we can become a master tour rider. Then after becoming a master tour rider, then we must go back through the rider's course and the first aid. I believe it's every 2 years to stay certified as a master tour rider. But it's a great program, and it's designed to for rider safety and preparedness. So the benefits of the Levels program is increased rider knowledge, increased rider safety skills, prevention of accidents, to reduce both injuries and fatalities, improved general public image of motorcyclists, and enhanced enjoyment of motorcycle riding. So through commitment, education, and application, we can reduce our accident rate significantly. So the Gold Wing Road Riders Association is proud of our rider education program, and we encourage everyone to think seriously about motorcycle safety and participate in a rider education program. And also, please remember the old cliche, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And we also encourage everyone to always wear all of your protective riding gear, your helmet, your gloves, long sleeves, long pants, and boots. And we also have other riding safety gear that we wear as far as the jackets with the padding in them, and the riding pants that also have the added protection. And when we're riding, our group, we never stop at a bar, to go in and have a drink. We encourage our members not to do that. If you want to have a drink, after the bike has been put away for the evening, have a couple, but certainly while you're riding, that's a bad choice to make. So look twice to save a life, and thank you, and enjoy riding. Next up is Tony Lasher.
Good morning. My name is Tony Lasher. I'm also an assistant director of the GWRRA national team, and my passion is in motorist awareness. I have a slideshow to bring up. Let's see if it works. Yes. That's a symbol of our the GWRRA, Friends, Fun, Safety Through Knowledge. And it was established in 1977. The Motorist Awareness Program stands for Why We Ride the Way We Do, is the presentation that I'll be showing. The purpose of this presentation is to educate the public about motorcycles on the road, inform the public about different types of rides, and inform the public why we ride the way we do. This whole presentation is geared to the non-motorcycle population or people of where we ride, so that they can identify with us. Okay, why do we want to educate the public about motorcycles on the roadway? One is the monitoring public will be more aware of us, the motorcyclists, on the roadways. Hopefully reduce the accident fatality rate among us motorcyclists. There's different types of motorcycles on the road. There's the two-wheel motorcycles of various brands, otherwise the big cruisers. This young lady is enjoying her ride, and that's one of the big cruisers out there. It's motorcycle community is more than just the men. It's the women out there, more and more of them. We also have touring bikes. This is a picture of the Gold Wings new 2018 1800. We also have sports bikes, commonly called crotch rockets. Dirt bikes on and off the road. There's a dirt bike that you can ride both on and off road. If you notice in the back, it has a license plate, and it has the mirrors and the lights up front. Now we get down to the dirt bike. There is no license plate on the back. There is no headlights, no mirrors, and they do get dirty. And it's just for off-road riding. There's also scooters on the roadway. Little pink one, scooters. It's more prevalent, of course, with the ladies. And it is licensed for the road. There's others called the three-wheel trikes of various brands. Two wheels in the rear and one up front. That there is a 2018 Gold Wing 1800 with the, it's a Roadsmith rear end conversion kit. That's mine. Also have three wheels trike, continued two wheels up front and one in the rear, commonly called, it's a Can-Am Spider. So you notice there that the two wheels up front, one in the rear. Those are popular. They're less expensive than the Gold Wing, but it's very popular. Two wheel up front, one in the rear with the steering wheel. This is called the Polaris Slingshot. Beautiful machine. Don't know what to call it yet. It's got a steering wheel, roll bars. It's not a motorcycle, and it's not a car. but it is a very popular machine. You got the four-wheel bike, two-wheel bike with two additional wheels in the back, sometimes called training wheels. That's not as popular, but it's less expensive for people to convert. It takes a little time to take the two wheels off in the back and convert it back to a two-wheel. You got your two-wheel bike with a sidecar. It's an old Harley with a sidecar. Those are also popular. Fun machine to ride. Now, why do we ride the way we do? We ride as a single for the pure joy of riding alone or cheaper transportation to and from work. This is a couple on that's in our chapter, Rich and Rhonda. This is pictures taken on the tail of the dragon out in Tennessee, North Carolina. You've got a small group of riders, roughly 2 to 10. That's, as you see, that roughly about 10 people there. They ride in a staggered formation also. I'll be covering that a little bit. You've got your medium group riders, 10 to 49. We ride as multiple riders for various reasons: social riding to dinner, joy riding, fundraisers, honor veterans, PGR, etc. Here is a picture of a Patriot Guard Riders mission, and there's roughly, it's over 10 but not quite 49. We do this to honor our veterans. This may require law enforcement escort for a safety reason. You got a large group of riders, 50 plus. Some of the reasons why: honoring a fallen veteran or soldier, the Patriot Guard. You've also got large fundraisers like the St. Jude Ride for Kids. Here's a group, is for the St. Jude kids. It was taken from Peoria, Illinois to Memphis, Tennessee. There's roughly, actually about 250 bikes in this road. If you notice at the very beginning, you can't hardly see it, is a state police officer escorting. And there were multiple police enforcement officers riding along with us to protect us. Sorry about the slide here. This does require a police escort for safety reasons. Styles of riding. You got single file riding, that's self-explanatory. You got staggered file riding, and why? We ride as staggered. One, the leader up front is always riding in the left lane or left track of the lane, closest to the center. And then the right one is on the right side, or to the right track, roughly about one second behind. It's side-by-side riding. It's not recommended, and the reasons why is that if there's something in the roadway or one of the riders have to take evasive action, there's no place to the side. It's not recommended. Different riding tracks. The left track, that's closest to the center line. Then you got your right track, that's closest to the shoulder. You got the center track, the center of the lane. Notice this rider right in front on the red. Watch out for us. You, the motoring public, please watch out for us. Your life and ours depends on it. Thank you for your attention and participation. Riders and drivers united for safety. That is our motto. Thank you. The next, I believe the next presenter is Chris.
Yeah, hello and good morning. My name is Chris Milligan, also known as Gas Cap. I ride with the Bikers Against Child Abuse chapter in the Highland Lakes area. I'll be focusing a little bit this morning on what my organization does in order to keep our group rides safe and our individual rides safe. I was on the webinar earlier during this presentation where they were talking about fatalities. And it was eye-opening to me. I'm going to mention these two stats because it kind of goes in along with why we do what we do. 28% of all motorcycle fatality drivers were not licensed at the time of their accident. 28% were not licensed to ride a motorcycle. 39% of individual riders who were accidents that resulted in a fatality were impaired through substance of one kind or another at the time of the accident, 39%. Those are very interesting and sobering statistics. We can all agree that we need to do something about that. And what Bikers Against Child Abuse is doing about that is, first and foremost, we have developed a handbook. It's actually under revision at this time, but we've got all of our rules, road rules, individual rules, all reduced to written form and accessible to all members. One of the things that we do is we require everybody to have their insurance, their driver's license, and an up-to-date registration for their vehicle on file with each chapter at all times. When we do get together for a ride for a child or to a child's destination, which is primarily what we ride for, is to empower abused children, then we will spot check on site for people to have their license, registration, and insurance up to date. There are obvious reasons why that is, and I'm sure you can fill in the blanks there, so I'll move on to the next part. Once we do determine that we're going to go take a ride, one of the first things we do is we have a road captain assigned to each chapter, and that road captain will go out and develop the ride plan in person, actually make the ride whenever possible prior to us getting together. Then once we do get together, he will hold a briefing, talk about the route that we're taking, any potential hazards or obstacles. We'll discuss which exits and which turns we're going to take, how many red lights there are, things of that nature. We'll also discuss the order of the ride, how people are going to ride in the formation. Many times officers are placed up front, or the road captain's always up front. But we'll always have the least experienced riders to the rear of the procession, as well as any trikes or more than two-wheeled vehicles in the back. We have somebody in the back that's also called a sweeper or tail gunner, and their job is to help us make sure that we transition from one lane to another safely. During the ride brief, we review hand signs that we'll be passing back and remind all of our riders to assist one another by passing those signs back, because some of these long processions, when you get 40, 50, 60 bikes, I've been in as many as 1,000 at one time, you're not able to see the road captain and see everybody in front of you. So it's important to pass all of those back. So our ride signals are a very important part of what we do along our ride. And then once we're done with our ride, we in reverse go back to where we met up at, and we have a debrief. And during the debrief, we'll discuss the ride and how it went, as well as other important internal data that I won't go into. So for us, having a plan before we ever meet up, and then having a plan for how we actually assemble and disembark is very important. And so we've got these strategies in place now to help make sure everybody arrives safely. And particularly because a lot of times when we get to our site, we take a child for a ride. And so we have the tips and processes and programs in that as well. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that all the ride training and practice and preparation in the world does not mean that you're going to be safe riding. It's up to the individual's responsibility doing a ride to be aware of its surroundings at all times, and to make sure that they're accounting for people who are not aware of the rules. That's the number one thing, is people who are not aware of the rules in cages or in sometimes other motorcycles, trying to get in between a pack or trying to not account for the entire ride procession. Those kind of things are normally the biggest danger we face. It's not each other, it's the people who are unaware or uneducated. And so that's something that always take a very personal commitment towards, whether you're riding alone or with the group. We do ride training as a group when we're not doing something formal, like in a parking lot. We do some slow cones, stuff like that. And then as an example, I've been riding all my life, and I'm taking a professional course tomorrow, all day long on Sunday, be there for 8 hours. So never stop learning, never stop progressing, and never stop being unaware of your surroundings. That's my presentation for the day. I appreciate your time, and we're going to pass it over to Chris Ward, also known as Clutch.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here if I can do this. All right, thank you. My name is Clutch, as he mentioned, president of the Grim Guardian Motorcycle Club here in Austin, Texas, also serving as the Texas Council of Clubs and Independents member of the Advisory Council and legislative liaison at the Capitol for bikers' rights and motorcyclist rights. I come on today to specifically talk about clubs, club mentality when it comes to motorcycle safety, maybe some benefits and things to consider when you see a motorcycle club cruising down the street. Maybe explain some of the things you see that may not initially add up, but maybe give you some justification why we are doing what we're doing. So in general, being part of a club means you have consistent coaching. Maybe not everybody knows that there's a vetting process to become a member of a motorcycle club, but during that time, it's not just about learning your personality and whether it's a good fit, but it's also assessing your riding ability and making sure that you're aware of what it takes to ride with a group of people consistently. I think one of the biggest fears is that riding in a pack can be intimidating. But when you're riding 3, 4, 5 people and you've got thousands of miles under your belt together, there's nothing like it. During that 6 months to a year, you're learning things like spatial awareness. We're teaching you, how to handle these occurrences before they come. Like what issues can happen, if you don't see a turn signal, but you see a person's head turn in the car, what does that mean for the pack? So we're teaching those things and we're learning those things throughout that process and passing on that knowledge to people who are potentially members of a motorcycle club. And that's pretty, consistent across the board for motorcycle clubs that I've talked to and how they handle that stuff. Oftentimes a motorcyclist that comes within or starts a prospective process has many, many years of riding under their belt. But yet when they're riding in a motorcycle club or going through the prospecting process, they are always learning. And we are never going to assume that we're the perfect rider. A lot of times it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I won't go into that much more. I think most of you know that there are safety concerns from motorists out there that we face, whether they're left-hand turns or they don't look twice. We just have to make sure that we've taken that scenario and we try and handle those occurrences before they come. And we do that during that process of prospecting and then continue that process as we go on rides. I cannot express enough that comes with actually doing it. Don't be afraid. Go out, ride your bike. You're not going to learn unless you do it. So that also goes to speak to what Gas Cap's point was at the end. You're never done learning. So even if we have 5,000 miles together as a group or 25,000 miles together as an individual, and they're accident free, you can still learn. So we still encourage our members and those within the community continue to take those classes, because you're always going to learn something new and you're going to remember something that you forgot. So it's very important. It makes you a better motorcyclist. It makes you a better person on the road, and it helps you try and prevent those situations and predict those situations before they come up. As far as being in a motorcycle club and riding in a group, there's benefits to it. I think a lot of the statistics, and I hope we can tease this out a little bit, are people who ride alone. They're not seen, they're not heard. And so the four worst words you can hear during this is, I did not see him or her. And that is what we try to avoid. We commonly have this patch, loud, a loud pipe saved lives. And there's some importance to that because you're seen and heard. I know it's a bit of a nuisance, but at the end of the day, we all have family that we need to come home to. So some of the benefits in riding the pack is safety, safety, safety. Seen and heard. It's not a possibility that they can't see you if, five of you are heading home together. More sets of headlights, and even more specifically, more sets of turn signals and tail lights, because one of the weaknesses of riding a motorcycle are probably the tiny tail lights that you have. So it increases your visibility. In high traffic situations, we tend to ride parade or abreast. I know that's looked frowningly upon often. Maybe not so much on highway. We would stagger just to enjoy the ride and decrease some of the stress of being 3 feet apart. That's club by club. But certainly in high traffic situations, we ride abreast or in parade style just to make sure that we're seen. One of the few things that people don't consider is when we ride staggered in a traffic situation, oftentimes someone who is trying to make a left-hand lane turn or change will see that first bike go by and not necessarily see that second bike right there in that staggered formation. So they'll go ahead and make that lane change running into one of our members, and we just don't want to see that. So we do, in high traffic situations, continue to ride tight. And much like law enforcement does, you'll see them cruise down the road in that similar situation. But it also comes with miles. I can't stress that enough, that this comes with miles and experience. And we just can't ask you enough that if you're a rider, get out there and ride, because this will come. So I discuss, as a community, we encourage safe riding. When we go to one of those locations where we all meet up, we discourage rocketing out of the parking lot. We discourage that sort of behavior. At the end of the day, if you want to be the one that takes the cops with you as we all leave, that's on you. But we do encourage safe riding when we leave our establishments. Not only does it give us a better name, but it increases the confidence in the establishment we just left and the general public that we know what we're doing. And then also, we don't leave by ourselves. We often leave with a brother or a sister. Make sure that we're riding together to make sure we get home safe. We all have family to get home to, and at the end of the day, that's our job, is to get home to our family. And we encourage all of our members to educate our cagers. And for some of you may not know, those are the people in the cars. Your co-workers, your parents, your friends, your family. Encourage them to make sure that they're looking out for motorcyclists on the side or on the road, because that could be you. And we want to make sure that everybody gets home safe. And so to summarize, at the end of the day, don't be scared. Go out and ride. If you've never ridden in a pack before, join one of the toy runs that is often run for independents and motorcycle clubs alike. Get out there and participate. Do not ride outside of your skill set. This is not something that should be ego driven. Ego will get you killed. This is something you ride in your skill set, but do it. Get out and do it. There's no way you're going to learn from a PDF or a PowerPoint presentation what it takes to be a safe rider. The best way to get out there is to do it, whether it's through a class or joining a motorcycle club. We were all independents at some point, is a common saying we have. So by all means, get out, ride. That's it for me. Hope for questions.
Thank you, Tony, Virgil, Gas Cap, and Clutch. Thank you for everyone joining. I don't see any questions right now. I'm going to give it a little bit of time for people who may have questions. And if they can also please fill out the session survey before entering the next session. But thanks everyone for joining. So let's see what questions we may have. We'll wait just a little bit.
Thank you, Marcy, for the compliment.
I do have a question if I don't see any other questions. So this will be for Gas Cap, and you had mentioned road captains. Is there more than one road captain? That when you're riding together to an event, is there more than one road captain that's in a group?
So road captain, by very definition, is the person in charge of the ride, right? And that's the person that's charged with the task of making sure that the route has been established prior to us getting there, and that they're aware of rules. And they also are the ones that are policing whether or not we have registrations, insurance, and driver's license up to date. That is an official position. It's not a board position, but it is an assigned position per chapter. So every chapter in the state or in the world, we're in 23 different countries, has an assigned person whose sole responsibility is to stay up on riding protocols and stuff. And then their sole responsibility at the site is the safety of the group. They take it very seriously. I've had them in a situation where they saw something that was unsafe. They pulled the entire damn pack over and said, stop. No, that's unacceptable. It's unsafe. We're going to re-embark after we get this straight. So they take it very seriously, and I'm very proud of them.
Ronnie?
That's awesome. Yes, sir.
Yes, in the Goldwing Association, we have ride captains also. They have to go through an extensive training program to be certified, and then they'll have a patch on their vest. And in order to, the leader, the road captain up front, and then the tail gunner in the back, both have to take and pass the road riders class. And it's a all-day session. Half of it is a classroom, and half of it is actually on the course.
It looks like we have a couple of questions. One from Marcy Bettis. Do your new members questions some of the programs? I'm not quite sure who that one's directed to, but if anybody wants to maybe answer on that, we'll give a couple minutes for that.
Yeah, sure. For us, I noticed that new members are questioning a lot, and I welcome the questions. I'm glad that they question stuff. Why do we do this, or how do we do this? Those are usually the people that develop the best. The ones that are not asking questions, they usually have them. They're just not asking them, and I'd rather them ask them. So.
All right. We have another question from Ruben Alanis. Do you suggest to do the SMIDC, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, when riding alone, to be seen by cars about to turn in front of you? And I'm not familiar with that term, Smithy. Are you
I'm not
guys?
either. Maybe you could clarify questions.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know what Smithy is.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you could put that in there, that'd be great. But I will say that as an individual rider, just a personal experience, at night, I'm not afraid to put my high beams on or maybe do a little bit of a swerve if I see someone that's coming, maybe not a swerve, something that changes the eye line of the headlights for them so that they see it. Yeah, I'm interested in knowing what that acronym is.
Looks like we have another question from William. I'm going to tear up your last name, William. So sorry, I might as well just not say it at all. Here we go. Where are road captain classes?
In the Goldwing Road Riders Association, we do this at our selected sites within our chapters and districts. We also do them at can be done at our state rallies or even at our National Goldwing Association. We call it Wingding, and it is presented by an authorized instructor, and he has to go through all the training to be an instructor for this.
I teach road captain classes, and I'm also a chapter director. So my suggestion to the person with the question is to seek out a chapter, whether it be chapter of your choice, I guess. But then the chapter director would be able to help you with finding the course that you need to take. But when I get 3 or 4 people interested in the road captain's course, then I'm able to teach the class. So I will schedule it with the people, and same with our district, which is a district to us is a state. We will put it out that we're having a course, a class, and whoever wants to come, let us know in advance, and we'll set it up.
Looks like Ruben Alanis did describe that acronym. Sorry, mate, I didn't see you. Yes, it's the swerve.
Sorry, mate, I didn't see you. I mean, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to use that one. But yeah, that's something we learned early on is change that eye line between your, for your headlights. So that works daytime and nighttime. So just don't swerve too much because you might get burned.
Yeah, and if you wear bright colors and reflective gear at night, that's going to help them to better be able to see you as well. And I also run flags on the back of my trike, so when the flags are blowing in the wind, it's kind of like, hey, we're here.
I dye my beard white so they can see me.
I also ride with the modulated headlights and tail lights. I don't ride with it on all the time, only when I see a car like on the side of the road at a intersection, and I'll flip on the modulated headlights that they will flash at them, and it gets their attention. Don't enter that intersection. I'm coming. Same way with the tail lights. When I put my brakes on, it flashes about 5 times, telling the driver behind, wake up, I'm going to be doing something. And I'll let loose on the brake numerous times and then put them back on so that those flashing brake lights will still get their attention, especially at stop signs.
It's always good. So here's going to be a question coming for me as a new rider. The wind the other day was kind of crazy for me to navigate and feel it. And in a group, how do y'all deal with the wind?
Well,
A really gusty day.
I can answer that question from my standpoint as a chapter director. I'm the one that puts the word out that, hey, Saturday we're going to have a ride, I will monitor the weather. And when there's a strong wind advisory in the forecast, I'll cancel the ride for the safety of my members. I will postpone it and do it a different day. Now, if you're out there and the wind comes up, which that shouldn't happen if you're monitoring the weather, you should know in advance. But if you're out there and you get caught up in the wind and it gets too strong, then my word is to get off the road. Trikes are not so bad, but with the big fairings on them, they can be. I've been caught in a 70-mile-an-hour wind when there was a tornado that just popped up. And in steering the trike, once you turn into the wind and the wind gets in your fairing, it's hard to turn back the other way. And with the two-wheel, like in the Beartooth Pass out in Montana, I think part of it's in Montana, part of it's in Wyoming. But when you're up there, the wind was 54 miles an hour, and the two-wheel bikes, they just had to turn around and go back down. They couldn't continue. So my word is just to don't get caught out in the strong winds.
Also, riding in a group on a staggered formation, increase that stagger 2 or 3 seconds or more, so that it gives the other riders a chance to react. If you all of a sudden, man, you're pushed over.
Yeah, just to add a little bit to that, Spitfire, nobody is as aware of your comfort level and your skill level as you are. Don't let your ego get in the way. If everybody's going ahead, pull on over. I mean, safety first for you, and you call the shots for you. So even if somebody says, no, it's okay, let's go. If you're not comfortable, hang back, cancel yourself, let them go. Don't have to ride another day.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, as in the club area where we're discussing this a little bit, ego will kill you. We've said that before. We also monitor that stuff, and we would increase stagger because looking cool only gets you so far when the wind blows you all in a ditch. So we do monitor that stuff. A lot of times there will be times where you just need to get there, whether you're an individual or a club. But at the end of the day, you're never just check the ego, get home safe, get to your job safe. No one's going to begrudge you that. We might poke fun a little bit, but it's all in good standing. It's all because we love you. At the end of the day, I love every one of my brothers, and I want to see them get home safe. And, I don't want to have to explain to their families why we rode a way that could have caused them harm. So.
Good answers, very good answers. Looks like we've got a question from Marcy Bettis. This goes back to when you guys were mentioning adding more visible lights, headlights, different things onto your motorcycle to be seen. She says, how much money would you say you have to spend on adding equipment to your motorcycle to make you more visible or heard?
I could answer that one. On the Goldwing trike that I've got, it's black, and to make it stand out, I've added literally every piece of chrome that I could buy to dress it up, and then lights as well. On the front of my trike, I have 18 lights, from the fog lights to the headlights to lights on the fairing, lights on the forks. So I've spent probably, my guesstimation is about $10,000 so that I can be more visible. As far as being heard, Goldwings don't make a lot of noise. They're pretty quiet. We have the old joke that you can hardly hear the Goldwing. So we have to, be going through constant training so that, because we know that we're not heard. So we need to be seen, and then we need to be educated so that we can look out for everything around us. But the answer to that question is I've spent a lot of money, and it's worth every dime.
And I won't be chiming in. My wife is listening.
But you know, at the end of the day, if you get home safe, the dollar is worth it. So whatever you spent is worth it. You know, a lot in the MC community, we believe in black, and if they made reflective gear in black, that would probably be all right. But you know, that we may ride a little different just to make sure that that increases our safety by getting out of harm's way rather than staying in harm's way. So we might save a dollar there. But financially, any money that you spend to make sure you're confident in your ability to get home is worth it. So don't let a budget get in the way of your life. If that makes sense.
Right on. So basically, education is the key. Your behavior, how you're writing. Y'all have a bunch of good information. Thank y'all very much for participating today. And thank you everyone for joining in. Please fill in the session survey before entering the next session. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank y'all very much for everything. Peace. Love y'all. Blessings. And we're done. Okay.